Recent reports from the Central Pollution Control Board have raised alarming concerns, stating that fecal coliform bacteria, a dangerous indicator of sewage contamination, has been detected in the river Ganga at levels far exceeding safety limits. This bacterial presence, primarily driven by the discharge of sewage, poses grave health risks to the millions of devotees who have gathered to bath in these waters, seeking spiritual cleanliness. This bacterial presence, primarily driven by the discharge of sewage, poses grave health risks to the millions of devotees who have gathered to bath in these waters, seeking spiritual cleansing. With over 54.31 crore devotees having bathed in the waters since January 13, the stakes are higher than ever. The CPCB's findings are a warning bell to the government. Fecal coliform bacteria, commonly found in the intestines of both humans and animals, signifies contamination of water with harmful pathogens such as viruses, salmonella, and E. coli. In the case of the Ganga, these bacteria have been detected in levels far beyond the permissible limit of 2,500 units per 100 milliliters of bathing water, with some reports indicating counts even higher.
People are definitely coming with something like what we call as gastroenteritis, where they're having loose motions, vomitings and all that. They're having fever of unspecific or unspecified origin. Most probably they're viral fevers which are happening. Quite a few people are suffering from respiratory tract infections like a runny nose, sneezing, cough and cold, which is obviously very common when you go to such a crowded place and then you take a dip, which might be at 3 a.m. in the morning, which might be 4 a.m. in the morning. So you can get exposed to this cold environment over there, and these infections become very common. The other things which we are seeing is a lot of skin rashes on the body, which is again a dermatological problem which can happen when the water is not too clean and the skin is sensitive of different people.
The National Green Tribunal, led by Chairperson Justice Prakash Srivastava and Judicial Member Justice Sudhir Agarwal, recently reprimanded the Uttar Pradesh Pollution Control Board for failing to comply with earlier directives aimed at curbing sewage discharge into the Ganga and Yamuna.
My point is that when the government is saying it's that this occasion is coming after 144 years, so why the persons are being basically forced to take bath on the of the water which is a highly contaminated one, and why the state authorities has failed to basically prohibit this contamination.
This is not the first time the Ganga has been found to be detained with fecal coliform bacteria. Back in 2019, CPCB data showed alarming levels of contamination, prompting environmentalists to raise their voice against the growing threat. Just 2 months before the Mela, in November 2024, the fecal coliform bacteria count at the downstream Ganga was measured at an astonishing 3,300 mpn per 100 milliliters, well above the legal limit. The sight of dead fish floating on the surface of rivers further underscores the extent of the environmental degradation. The most poignant question now is, what happened to the massive 40,000 crore rupees allocated to the Namami Ganga program intended to clean and rejuvenate the river? Despite years of promises and funding, the Ganga remains tainted and the Yamuna's waters continue to suffer the same fate.